Alright people, how you go on YouTube and everyone out there, bear with me because I'm a bit crook at the moment, so if you can hear him on my rest. Alright, so what I'm going to explain is I'm keep getting asked a lot of questions about how is it that we actually shifted and stuff like that. I already explained by the particles, etc. and everything with consciousness. So what happened is that when we're set to an original timeline, for an example, if we're set to the Sagittarius original timeline and the original dimension of design, we can move back and forth physical, okay? We can actually shift in that same space-time continuum paradox, and we can move forwards or backwards in time of the same manifesting consciousness of the collective, but we can either advance frequency forward or advance frequency back. And for a set timeline, for a set universe, we can actually shift in time with our physical avatar being intact as what we are when we tried to shift. But this was nothing to do with time. The actual Mandela effect is a shift of consciousness from one parallel reality and put into another parallel reality. Or putting that bluntly, it's like shifted out of the universe of the Sagittarius multiverse and then put into a universe inside of the Orion Spurs multiverse. So the reason why everything's changed is because the consciousness energy from each manifestation of the collective that allows the physical through vibration frequencies, etc., has actually changed its alternating frequency of the manifestation. So you have the alternating two consciousnesses now, the Orion Spur and the Sagittarius Arm consciousness merged together, working as one collective, manifesting that physical reality. So what you're automatically getting is the changes like the Forrest Gump and all the movies and all the products, etc. like that, that are all merging to show you that there is a manifestation of the physical that is changing for you to get to the understanding that nothing really does exist, as everything itself is nothing more than electromagnetic consciousness energy, and the reality, the physical visual of what you see is just an overlay on top of that electromagnetic energy that's always creating everything, that is you, that is me, that is everything of existence and non-existence, and we are all part and parcel of it and are all it as one. So with the manifestations of actual creation of what we're looking at the two parallel realities, we're looking at the reason why you can actually physically keep your avatar intact and shift through time in the set timeline is because you are in the same collective of the same frequency, but all you are doing is moving the location of that frequency within the collective. So the manifestation of the same collective is always a little bit different, etc. like that, right? But when you actually shifting to another parallel multiverse, what you actually have to do is you cannot be intact physically, because that parallel dimension of frequency is totally alternating to the original dimension of frequency that you come from. So therefore you're basically adding energy into another energy that has to work together to create the outcome of the desired reality. And because two consciousnesses have the Sagittarius Arm have our collective thought initiative programming of what we all remember and we grew up with, which was our everyday lives to us before we shifted. And then you have the Orion Spurians, which is their everyday life because they haven't actually shifted at all. So the total manifestation of the physical is changing to correspond with the alternating currents of the consciousness frequencies or energy that are this one collective in Orion Spur. So you can actually shift through time in that one timeline from backwards and forwards because it's the same collective, as I said. Everyone in that collective is the same frequency of that manifestation of that dimension, and that can be possible only that way. But if you're trying to shift through into a multiverse, your consciousness electromagnetic signature of energy can be shifted. So therefore, the reason why you have a new body is because the body was a manifestation from the consciousness combining from Sagittarius Arm with the Orion Spurs frequency, and we have the same looking outside body, but the inside the body has changed quite a bit dramatically with the organs and stuff like that. Cheers. Peace and love, brothers and sisters. I'll just add this quickly as well. Also, the people out there that keep asking me, did we die? Did we die? Did we die? Okay, so as we shifted, neither of our avatars had consciousness energy inside at that specific moment in time. I mean, that specific moment in time, right? So, for a period of multi-seconds to seconds, we were dead and non-existent in the Sagittarius arm reality and the Orion sperm reality and the next reality that goes on through all infinite mirrors right through. So for a period of a second or a couple of milliseconds, we weren't existent. So yes, we did actually die. So because you understand that your consciousness energy had shifted from a parallel reality into a brand new avatar, which is just the avatar shell for your spirit. So you're understanding now that you are quantum existence and that the physical itself does not hold the memory or anything like that. It's the conscious energy that holds memory and thoughts and etc. Right? So now that you have the understanding that you're quantum, there is no death, because death only applies to being a physical being and dying. But you've already been a physical being and died because you've shaved. So I'm crook at the moment. So you've changed your physical avatar itself, and you hadn't died. So how can that be possible if you didn't die? Do you get it? Alright, cheers. One main lesson that consciousness tried to relay to us through the Mandela effect is that everything is one. We are all one. The world is part of us. We are the universe. We are the quantum existent energy of a singularity of the full collective of God. Now, the Mandela effect itself was created by consciousness itself, using the tools inside of the matrix that are around at the time, like CERN, etc., stuff like that, quantum computers, to try to teach us that we're in a quantum computer. Everything is a hint inside the matrix, like I said. So you have consciousness now creating physical manifestation changes to give you a realization that everything that you see is not real. As much as you believe it is real, that's only indoctrination programming of being brought up inside of the matrix, constantly told what everything is and how everything works. And through your own thought initiative program, you have convinced yourself so far beyond belief that you can't even get around the grasp of understanding that it is not real anymore. And that's why the Mandela effect has happened, so people can get to the realization of what we used to know in the ancient days, that we are quantum electromagnetic energy, and what we are is electromagnetic singularity beings outside of this matrix, which is just created by us using telepathic singularity into one giant collective that creates the one. And we are creating the one that is creating this matrix. So the reason what you're doing is you're always getting in contact with your inner self or yourself on the outside. So we ourselves on the outside, electromagnetic frequency of energy, have been relaying to us inside that we're in the matrix game. See, what's happened is that we've lost understanding that we can come in, we can do whatever we want. There is no judgment, there is no sin, there is nothing inside of the matrix. It's only man's interpretation and allegories that they're created that makes us believe that God holds judgment, when God itself does not hold judgment either for good, bad, or whatever, as God itself is just pure and negative energy combined into one and is neutral. Cheers. With each kind of deity that you got Yahweh, Krishna, etc. It goes all the way down to everything that you can even imagine. Every single religion just gets in contact with the one consciousness. There is no other God. There is nothing except the one consciousness that's been there for eternity, that has created everything in existence. So, to get around the understanding that we are quantum and we are all existent forever quantumly, we can never ever die. Only lose our physical avatar until the next time we come back into another realm, or we create the other realm. But you've got to understand that when you understand this, there is no good or evil inside of the matrix, because as we deem the Illuminati and everyone inside of the matrix, we say these cunts are bad guys, these guys are the bad guys, these guys are the bad guys, which I've been saying all my life. But after being in contact with the one, the realization is that they are nothing, they're just another player. Each of us have our own experience of what we wish to do inside of the Matrix when we come in for our singularity experience, for the one consciousness to experience everything all at once. And the Illuminati are just using what they understand about consciousness. They've hid it away all the time, and they've been using the all-seeing eye as a bad stereotype, when in fact the all-seeing eye is the true symbol for the eye of providence, which is the old school understanding of what consciousness was back then, and the symbol of power by the triangle and the eye itself in the symbol of power. So the Illuminati are actually doing duality law by flashing you the all-seeing eye all the time and telling you they're a secret society, when blatantly you can see that they're not a secret society anymore. See, the whole law of the duality game is that it's all free will. They cannot outright blatantly tell us that we're playing a game and they're playing the team 2 of the game. So what they do is they drop hints, like I put in my duality video. They show you that what they do, like with the bird flu or anything like that, they say it, but they don't do it. They say martial law, but they don't do it. See, it's all a scare factor, and also to manifest the negative energy into the consciousness collective of the physical realization of reality, to actually make sure that we don't have to go into martial law. Because if you can feed negative into a different way than the aspect of actually seeing the physical violence or anything like that, then you can feed the negative vibrational frequency at the same time as what you normally would, as if you really were causing that violence or causing that outbreak or something like that. But just the scare factor itself manifests that negative energy for enable for consciousness and the positive to join together and create the neutral all the time. The powers to be are well aware of that there's a duality law, and they have to balance everything all the time. And half the reason why we see everything the way the world's going and how conspiracy it's getting, like no space, flat earth from round earth, and everything that we're going into is just going into the understanding of that nothing really was real to begin with. And this is what you've got to understand: when nothing really was real to begin with, then what is really real now? There is nothing that's really real except for your perception and your observation that create the physical only in your mind to be real through the senses. All right, cheers.